Sirena Universum, number 20, Locked Waters. Sometimes the world becomes so loud that the only refuge seems to be a small and closed space, a place where nothing can reach you, where the echoes soften, where the light is filtered through glass and water, a place that feels safe until it doesn't. Here she rests inside a small sphere, part aquarium, part universe, part cell. The walls curve around her like a quiet shell. Chains wrap around the outside, cold and heavy, as if announcing to the world that this space must remain closed. But the question is never about the chains, the question is always about the hands that placed them there. Was she locked away by someone else, or did she curl up inside and close the door herself, hoping that isolation would silence the storm? Sometimes we hide not because the world is dangerous, but because our own thoughts feel too sharp to carry in the open. Retreat becomes a kind of comfort, even when it hurts. Inside the sphere the water is still, every movement is slow, weightless, suspended. She floats in the quiet. At first the silence feels healing, but slowly, quietly it begins to press inward. The boundaries shrink, the walls become defined. What once felt like protection begins to feel like confinement. And outside the glass, somewhere on the shimmering sand, lies a key. Simple, unmoving, waiting. It does not call to her. It does not promise anything. It just exists, a possibility that she cannot yet touch. The key is always outside. Freedom always feels like just beyond reach when we aren't ready to claim it. Sometimes the chains around us are real. Sometimes they are invisible, woven from doubt, fear, exhaustion. Sometimes we lock ourselves inside because we don't trust the strength we carry. And sometimes we forget that lock was never meant to be permanent. That we were never meant to live inside a shrinking world. What if she placed herself inside the sphere out of love? Love for the parts of herself that needed silence. Love for the fragile pieces she wasn't ready to show to anyone. Even self-imposed walls can be acts of tenderness. It is easy to forget that healing often begins with retreat, but healing doesn't end there. As she curls inside the sphere, she begins to sense the space around her, the shape of the water, the cold glass under her fingertips, the heavy chains draped above like star constellation, and somewhere deep inside, a quieter understanding begins to surface, that she is not trapped by the sphere, but by the belief that she must remain inside it. The key outside the glass is not an invitation to escape. It is a reminder that choices exist, that door exists, that her world is not closed even if she cannot see the opening yet. Sometimes freedom begins not with movement but with noticing the possibility. Maybe one day she will reach for the key, maybe not today. Maybe today she simply breathes in the stillness, acknowledging both the comfort and weight of this tiny universe. Sometimes the smallest spaces teach the largest truths. And perhaps that is the heart of her journey, discovering whether she is here because she is hiding or because she is healing, whether she is locked away or simply resting before she grows enough to stay beyond the glass. The chains do not decide that for her. The lock does not. Even the key does not. She does. Because every boundary that feels unbreakable becomes fragile the moment we question it. And every door, no matter how tightly closed, begins to open the moment we remember that it exists. Here, inside the quiet sphere, she is not lost. She is not imprisoned. She is becoming.